Hello again. Quick review from Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 1, Dragonstone. Opening sequence. Wasn't sure what was going on at first. Walder Frey's back, and there's the whole family meeting and festival, and it was looking a little weird, and then all of a sudden, when he nodded to give the wine out, I knew something was going on, and it didn't dawn on me yet that Arya was behind it. Oh, and by the way, there are spoilers in here, so don't watch this if you want to know what happened. When she pulls off the face and reveals it's herself, and the girls are still okay, but every man that was there for the Red Wedding is dead, was absolutely stunningly done. And she just walks out like a boss, too. She didn't give a shit. She'd done her job. Then we roll into the main title sequence, because that was a killer cold opening. That's something you don't really see that much. So this whole episode was just setting up where everybody was. We get to see Cersei and Jaime, and Jaime can already tell Cersei's off her fucking rocker. I think he was really showing that at the end of last season as well. The whole scene, their dialogue was just incredible. He's like, our children are dead, there's nothing left. You know, our baby boy killed himself. Was very emotional for him, you could tell. And she, at this point, has lost her shit so much from everything that's gone on that she just doesn't know how to function or do anything now. And she was like, we're the last of the Lannisters, we're setting up a dynasty for ourselves, not for anybody else. Jaime could tell, and I still think by the end of this season, Jaime's going to be the one that kills Cersei, because nobody else is going to be able to get close to her because of the mountain and, you know, the Red Guard and all that. I think Jaime's the one that's going to kill her and end her reign. And it would be fitting anyways, but we'll get into that as the season goes. We get to see Brandon return to the Wall. Night's Watch picks him up, and he's like, I'm Brandon Stark, I'm the Three-Eyed Raven. We know he's the Three-Eyed Raven. I'm just waiting to see him walk, because it's going to happen. Now that he has all this power of the Three-Eyed Raven, he will be walking. We get to see Sansa and Jon Snow. Jon Snow knows how to rule, and Sansa told him that too. You're good at this. He learned from some of the best, but she even told him, you don't want to make the mistakes that brother and father made, you know. So he's learning, and Sansa will be there to help him along. I think he does need to listen to her a little bit more. I understand the concept of giving the new families the castles, but he's right. You can't punish the children for the sins of the father. So it was proper for him to continue to leave those castles to the families and have them rededicate themselves to the north. I liked seeing that myself. And they were young children too, you know. They were not men or adults at this point. The one was a woman, of course, but that has no bearing on it. It was nice to see that they're going to have these young people dedicate their families to the defense of the North and to the Stark family, and that they will hopefully stay faithful, unlike their fathers did. Littlefinger, we know what he wants. He wants Sansa. I'm really hoping he dies soon. I haven't liked Littlefinger for quite a few seasons. He's just a fucking perv. So hopefully they get rid of him soon. Sansa will be the one to dispatch of him. She's going to do it too, like in his sleep or something like that. She's going to kill him, and he's not going to be expecting it. Then we had Brienne and Pod training. That was kind of cool to see. She's really trying to groom him into becoming a knight, and that's what she's supposed to do in that position. He's, you know, her squire or page or whatever you want to call it, and he is trying to learn from her, and she's a good person to learn from. She's knows her hand in battle, and she knows the ways of the world. I love that she's so dedicated to Sansa after everything that's gone on through the series. You know, she's really dedicated herself to Sansa and protecting her. Now we get to Sam cleaning out chamber pots. That was a fun scene. Just disgusting. They did really well with that. It was really nice really nicely executed scene. You can see how Sam's being treated there as kind of just, you're going to be training as a maester, you have to start from the bottom type thing. And he does what he needs to do, and he's like, look, this shit has to be done. Winter has come. And their whole thing is, well, winter's come before, we've made it survive through before, all that. So it was nice to see that scene as well. Sorry, the cat's playing with my foot. I really love that they made the discovery about the dragon glass, and they're really pushing for that, which just sets up a big scene that's going to be coming up here in the next episode or two, because what's going to happen now is, well, we'll cover that here in a minute. There was a really legit good scene with the Hound. I think it may be one of my favorite scenes of the series. Is, you've seen the Hound from the start, where he was this big bad warrior that was fighting in tournaments and defending Joffrey, and then became this rogue guy out traipsing about with Arya Stark and everything that's gone on with him, and then him getting involved with the Brotherhood Without Banners, the Lord of Light. You know, he still doesn't buy into it. They get to the cabin and find that man and girl dead that he had left after he robbed them. Old Hound, it wouldn't have bothered, but after the whole stuff that happened last season, when he was living in the village and they were killed, that really has changed him. Now, him burying them was amazing. That was a great scene. But him seeing the images in the Lord of Light and foreshadowing what's coming up in the season was really cool, and it really pushes to why his involvement is so important now. A lot of people have kind of like, why do we keep going back to him? I knew there was something more that was going to come with him, and I'm glad we're finally starting to see that. Now, we had a little bit of a wasted scene I want to kind of go on about. It wasn't a fully wasted scene. Like, I think the scene was good. It was where Arya came up on the soldiers, and, you know, they were discussing what they were doing there. You know, they missed their family, stuff like that. It put a human side on the soldiers that she hates so much and has been, you know, trying to, you know, kill, basically. And, you know, she's realizing they're just young men that have been pulled into battle for no reason. And she doesn't like it. It was a good scene overall, but the whole Ed Sheeran thing was a fucking joke. That was just, like, name brand placement, like, we drink Pepsi, break the fourth wall type thing. They didn't need the whole singing Ed Sheeran thing in there. I found it ridiculous, and I think it actually degraded the show somewhat for us viewers who've been watching it, and our smart viewers. I think it really downplayed. I don't mind cameos and stuff like that. That's fine, but come on, Ed Sheeran, really? We couldn't do anything else. But the final scene that I really want to discuss was our girl Daenerys, Mother of Dragons, arriving at Drsgonstone. The best part was there was no dialogue till the very end. You just see her landing back on the shores of Westeros after all this time of trying to get there. She's been fighting and struggling and everything she's gone through. She finally gets there. She puts her hand on the beach and keeps going. And they get up to the main gates and they open it up, and you see that long walk that she has to do to get there. And she is more than willing to do it and doesn't hesitate. She just goes straight forward because it's her rightful place. To see her do that and to come into the throne room like that and tear down the Baratheon banner was really nice. She walked in and she paused. You know, she wanted to sit, but she knew it wasn't time yet. She knew there was more to do, and she immediately walked to the war room. And I like where Missandei grabbed Grey Worm, kind of held him back a little bit, like, no, she has to do this. Tyrion's the only one that can be there for this moment, because he's the one that can really, really grasp the situation. I know Missandei and all the others have been with her for quite a while, but Tyrion knows when to keep his mouth shut and when to respond back. And when they walk into the big table room that we've seen before, that's such a beautiful room, and she gets to the head of the table and says, you know, I believe it was, it's time to begin. That really pushed forward that she's pushing for this. And so I gotta say, it was a great episode. They did a great job with setting everything up for the coming season or two. Because I know there's some discrepancies on how they're doing this, but they definitely came back with a bang. Everybody is really, really amped up about it. I know I was shaking last night just waiting for the new episode to start. So we've really set on a good course. We're going to see Jon Snow at Dragonstone because Sam sent the message to him telling him you got to get to Dragonstone to get the dragon glass because this is what kills White Walkers. He even said, look through your history books, people. See where dragon glass is. You know, where is it? How is it mined? How is it forged? We need these for weapons. He doesn't care about the Lannisters. He doesn't care about Dorne. He doesn't care about any of that. He wants to protect the lands from the White Walkers that are coming. He's seen them. He knows. And he even pointed out to Sansa, if you'd seen the king, you would know why I'm afraid, and I don't care about the South. So, going forward, we're going to see Jon Snow there very soon. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. I'm sure there's a couple other things. I know Euron visited Cersei. That scene was a good scene. It just proves Euron's a dick. But I want to know what his prize is that he's going to get for Cersei here. So I don't know if he's going to try to attack the fleet, try to kill one of the dragons, if he's going to try to capture Tyrion. I don't know. I guess it's just a wait and see at this point. But this season started off with a bang. It's looking really good, and hopefully it stays on this roll. So good job to everybody on the filming. You did a great job. This episode was great. Can't wait till next week's. Thanks.